and we handle everything from dewatering, wastewater, mining, pumps, valves, pretty much anything to do with the system we handle. And we've been in business since January of 2000. Started off oil and gas, pretty much just like everybody else did, and kind of grew from there. And we've been in the wastewater side, I would say, going on the last 5 years. Started with CPEX, and then now we've introduced the Vaughan chopper pumps into the lift stations that are up here. Vaughan is a family-owned company out of Montesino, Washington. That's where the pumps manufactured, castings, everything on this pump, minus O-rings, is done at their facility in Montesino, Washington. They do everything from horizontal, like you see here, to the vertical pedestal mount, and then the submersible for the lift station. For treatment plants, we are pretty heavy in the RAS and WAS headworks. So where you see a lot of the solids, a lot of the problems is where we are. We replace a lot of muffin monsters, because with a muffin monster it has to run 24/7. They're expensive to maintain, they're not efficient, and you have to have two pieces of equipment. And what we've been able to do with the Vaughan is in places like prisons and stuff that have, guys got nothing but time in the prison, so they just flush whatever they want to flush. So we've been able to replace those two pieces of equipment with a Vaughan chopper. So Vaughan's pretty new for Alaska for the municipal side. We've had them in the fish processing, both onshore and in the boats. They use strictly Vaughan chopper pumps for their facilities. So they small family. Well, I say small. They're a family-owned business. Been in business, I want to say 53 years, 53, 54 years. And the good thing about these guys is they're not so big where they won't take on special projects. So we are able to adapt to existing rail systems, I think minus Hypermatic that have the one in the front and back. But anything from 3-inch discharge all the way up to, they have a 16-inch discharge now. We're able to retrofit to Smith & Loveless stations. So a lot of these things that they're able to do, a lot of the bigger guys don't want to take on and handle because it's, it's not easy. You got to get measurements and basically prefab everything to fit what's in there. So they've come a long ways. Every pump is engineered and designed for a certain station. So depending on the amount of solids and what you're wanting to do, the pump is engineered and designed for that. Standard lead time on a typical pump is 4 to 6 weeks coming out of Montesino, Washington. So you've got very quick lead times. They don't hesitate to take on crazy projects, anything like that. So I will get going with the demonstration here. I know the past, I would say 5 to 8 years, it's been a real big problem with solids. The flushable wipes and all that stuff, the Swiffer pads and all that. People are spending lots and lots of money to unclog pumps, and they don't need to. So here I got the infamous Swiffer sweepers that everybody knows these things, and they're a pain. They don't break up. They don't, it's not like tissue paper and all that stuff. So take a handful of those. Goes right through, no problem.
Wastewater plant guys are watching that.
That was my first question. Like I said, chops it up. So it's not, a lot of people get this confused with a grinder. A grinder spends higher RPMs and needs the resistance. The problem with the grinders is they have a hard time with the stringy items, like your mop heads. Hey, I got a lot of funny looks shopping yesterday. My cart was pretty interesting. So you got the infamous, there's a lot of names for them, but everybody knows what they are. All features. Like nothing. So as you can tell, it doesn't try and grind it up like the grinder pumps. It basically, the key in pumping, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, you want to get the material in and out as fast as you can, because the longer it sits in the volute, the better chance you have something getting wrapped up. So what keeps Vaughan from doing that is they have, if you look in the brochures that I handed out, the chopper pump, it gives you a breakdown of what they have all the way from the cutter nut to the upper cutter. And basically that cutter nut, what it does is on every pump, there is a low pressure zone that causes, so like in the bathtub, you pull a drain up and you get that rolling effect. That's the low pressure zone, and that's what causes things like rope, stringy items to start winding up, roping up, and then all of a sudden something catches and you get a big blob right in front of the suction. So the cutter nut keeps that from happening. And he uses those two cutter fingers to cut, you know, whether it's the Swiffer pads, tampons, rags, whatever. That's the first, basically, I guess, it sees the most action in either the station or the treatment plant. And then behind that you have the impeller that also cuts against the fingers that are sitting there. And then behind the impeller you have the pump out vanes, which cut against the upper cutter. The upper cutter is basically the last line of defense for the mechanical seal. It keeps the things like hair, rope from winding up back there, blowing out the mechanical seal, blowing out bearings, things like that. So depending on the series or model that you can have anywhere from 3 to 7 cutting, chopping features in this pump. So that's why I said when you're going to select a pump, the amount of solids, what you're seeing in there, all that plays into effect of how we size the pump out.
So the big one is eliminating that stuffing box. Stuffing box.
I'm sorry?
Eliminating that stuffing box.
Yes.
All the sides.
So here you got rags, shirts. So my screen's clogging up over here.
We'll buy one.
Huh?
We'll buy one.
So, and it was brought to my attention last week that we had an issue, or there was an issue with a bypass pump that had got a lifting strap somehow dropped into the hole, and the bypass pump sucked it up. I guess it caused havoc on the bypass pump.
I have a picture on my phone if you'd like to see it.
So it was pretty much immediately, once that strap went in there, it stopped that pump in its tracks. What we have, we've got a lifting strap that basically caused the problem for the discharge, or for the bypass pump. Just gonna let everything get slurried up. So this basically caused, on a brand new bypass pump, headache. Pain. Locked it up. So, and just to let you guys know, this is a 7.5 horse, spinning at 860 RPM. So it's not like the ones that are at station 26, not like the bypass pumps that Vaughan manufactures. So this is just a regular old There you go. So it basically, I'm not just super handy there. That's basically what it does. But right now it's just slurring everything up. So basically takes that strap. Close. We've had some pretty nasty stations where they've been in for years. Try for everybody. It's good practice. So then one more surprise. This is a big deal. This is a big deal, man. Hey, get Mr. Moppin. Not Moppin. It's like, how he's getting a 6 foot?
That's part of the demonstration. I can joke about it.
You don't know, but I made a bet with somebody yesterday. Didn't think he could do it, and it did it. So I'm not going to name any names.
Moppin.
screens up because I wanted everything to get slurried up. Typically, you know, you do one thing at a time, scoop it out, but I didn't want to sit here for an hour and a half scooping stuff out of a tank. So that's pretty much the demonstration, you know, from tampons, mop heads, lifting straps. You know, I keep going if you guys want, but
It's pretty amazing.
yep.
One for his new Vitamix.
What? Oh, Vitamix?
Yeah,
it's like a Vitamix.
So how does it feel if it picks up something solid though?
Well, we had, last year we had a guy, because the ones that we use for demonstrations like this are a lot bigger, they're on their own power source, but this is what we take to the shows. They actually had a guy take a chunk of rebar, throw it in there, I don't know why, because nothing's going to pump rebar. Stop the pump, obviously, they turned the pump off, pulled the rebar out, turned it back on, and it just kept pumping.
Nick, let's see your phone. Let's try that.
It's a company phone. I can get a new one. Will it land?
Cool. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Vic. See you guys later. Thanks a lot for having me. What do you have a forward where you going? Forward.
Brad, Tiffany and I have a call at 1 o'clock, so we gotta get out of here. But, we got some pumps that are sewer plant, that are these old Payco pumps. We're not having business division. They're basically obsolete. And they're starting to have some wear. We can get a Bolton pump. That'd be very interesting. So,
Yeah, I will. One thing I forgot to mention during the thing is, I know that this is getting a you get a new pump in and 5 years ago, it's 10 years. Vaughan has over $2 million in parts inventory just on the shelf. They have pumps that have been out there 35, 40 years that they have parts on the shelf. Just good. So
I love the fact that they're manufactured domestically and on the West Coast.
yeah.
All right, we got to blow out here.
All right, well, thanks for coming. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me over. Okay. See you later.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to keep track of you there, brother. Keep moving. I was gonna send you a link today, but you probably already seen it.
Great.
Oh. Thank you. Yeah, everybody helped out. Just gonna get a little film of everybody here. Hey, can you do me a favor? I want to.
Never mind, you don't have to do nothing. I gotta go. Can you see me in here?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, this is the plastic that they use to make the industrial cutting boards with, so it's pretty durable stuff, pretty hard. There it goes. As you can tell, we're getting a lot of garbage. And then here is
Let's do
nylon rope.
Rope-a-dope.